Hey, what is up, everyone? So my name is Axel, or the Quad Specialist, as I go on Instagram, YouTube, and all that stuff. I actually got the idea from a friend because, well, I was a 75 beforehand, and I had moved up a class, or I was moving up a class, and I had a very long off season in that time to like move up a class. So I was telling my friend, I'm like, I can't have because my Instagram handle used to be the underscore Axel 75 kg, right? And it's like, well, I'm not a 75 anymore. Like, what am I calling myself, right? I'm in the off season. I'm not an 83 yet, really, or an 82 and a half. So I'm like, what should I just change my name to? Well, till I get there. It's like, dude, do something about your legs, bro. Like your legs are always like your defining feature. I'm like, yeah, I could do that. He's like, do something that someone has done before. I'm like, oh, no, I don't know. And it's like the quad specialist. I'm like, all right, I'll look. I'll go with that. I like that. So that's how I got my name, which fits perfectly into this video because this is I have made a video before on this account, but that's really about it. Made the video and then I just never made any videos ever again. But now I'm kind of trying to start getting the flow of things. So I'm gonna give like a real self introduction of who I am, my history in the sport and stuff like that. Other sports I've done beforehand, and just stuff about me in general. So again, my name is Axel. Currently 19, majoring in exercise and sports science. And I have been powerlifting for a little over 2 years now, almost three. So it's very, it's definitely been a blessing, the sport for sure. I've never been one to be very passionate about stuff, but powerlifting is one of those rare few things that I do have that passion for. So it's great because it keeps me in the sport just because I want to do it because I have a love for it. So anyways, before we get into that, we're gonna get to that later. First, we're gonna start off with just my history in the sport, I guess, or how I got into the sport. So beforehand, I was actually very fat in middle school. I was like eighth grade. My eighth grade year was the COVID year, and that COVID year I hit like the maximum, like it was my peak weight. I was 206. I was 14. So it's like it's not very good, right? You don't want to be 206 at 14 and you're like 5'5" or 5'6". I don't remember how tall I was. I haven't grown so much since then, so I was not much shorter. But yeah, it's like it's not where you want to be. So I started working out. I had some weights outside. They weren't mine, but I started using them. It's my stepdad's, and I kind of just started to get into it. Like I don't know. I liked the idea of bettering myself and stuff like that. Something I for sure wanted to do for years, but I just never really had the commitment to. I didn't want to go to the gym and stuff like that, clearly because I was fat. I mean, I feel like that's a very big step for someone, especially when you don't work out and you're kind of forced to go into that situation. So it was very helpful for me to at least be at my house while I did it by myself. It's like I felt no judgment. I felt like I could learn and all that stuff. So it was a very good experience for me for sure. Very happy about that. But yeah, I started working out. I was working out for maybe around, almost 2 years basically, until I actually found the sport. Beforehand, I had played football my freshman and sophomore year, and I wrestled my freshman year. I quit wrestling my sophomore year, and then I quit football at the end of my sophomore year. So that's when I had just started getting into powerlifting a lot, and I was like, this is really what I want to do. This is what I want to focus on. So I'm just gonna drop everything else. Now, how I found powerlifting. So it was one day during the off season, my sophomore year during my football off season, and the coach kind of just came up to us and in the weight room, and he's like, hey, if anyone's interested, powerlifting season's about to start. If anyone wants to do that, you're more than welcome to come to practices after school and stuff like that. And it's something I was very interested in. I'm like, I had a little bit of knowledge of the sport beforehand. If anyone knows Jeff Stanek, or I always forget how to say. I'm so sorry. I always forgot to say his name. I've known this guy for like years. Like I watch his content, and like a big inspiration of mine why I got into the sport. And I still don't know how to say his last name. I'm so sorry. Like Tim Tabido, or I don't know how to say it. The owner of Game Day, or the co-owner of Game Day. Both of those guys really got me into the sport, and kind of like introduced me into it. And I saw it, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I want to try that. So I got the chance for, in school, it's like I don't have to pay for anything, any of that stuff. I already had a belt, so I was like, I'm like, all set. I had an insert belt. I'm like, okay. I didn't really deadlift much, but I started deadlifting when I heard that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start deadlifting. I'm gonna start because I did incline bench, so now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do flat only. I always squatted, so that's the only one thing I think is clear that I would always do. Hence the name, right, and all that stuff. So yeah, I was like, I want to try this, and I tried. Did 2 JV meets at 165. I won the whole lightweight division, both meets. And then one of the coaches, he comes up to me, he's like, hey, we have one more varsity meet. I want you to go ahead and compete, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'd love to. I asked off for work because the only reason I was competing JV was because I had to work on Saturdays. I couldn't, do meets on Saturdays. So I asked off for work. They're like, yeah, okay. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. Go in, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I was on YouTube like days before, and I was like looking at because I live in Texas, so it's like Texas High School Powerlifting State, and I was looking at it, I'm like, these guys are strong. Like, these guys are squatting crazy amount of weight. Like, that's crazy, right? I actually didn't, so I believe it's in about every state, but I know it's starting to switch just because here in Texas we now have a raw division for the women's high school, but for men's, I believe it's still only equipped. So it's knee wraps, bench shirts, stuff like that. And I didn't use any of that. I kind of just wanted this meet, and I'm like, I don't want to use it. I've never used it before. I don't know how it's gonna go. So I'm just gonna compete like I always do. I literally just had a belt and chalk. That's literally all I had. So yeah, deadlifted 395, missed my 410. Bench 185, missed 200, and then I squatted 365. So I placed 14th out of 16th in the weight class. 181, I weighed in at 169, so I was a little over. So I was going at 181. But afterwards, my coach came up to me and my mom, and he's like talking to us. He's like, I really hope he comes back next year because I see a lot of potential in him. And that kind of just it was like, for reference, I am 5'8", not very big, or at least not anymore. So football was definitely not the sport for me. I'm very short. And then wrestling is a lot of time commitment, and I had a full-time job, and it's like I'm not very passionate about wrestling, so I'm just so I went to powerlifting. It was kind of like my natural thing, and I loved just working out. So I'm like, it's just a sport. I work out, I get stronger. That sounds something I really love to do, and I did. I signed up for my first USAPL meet like a couple weeks later after that, and I competed a couple months after that. Won my weight class for rookies and stuff like that, and I did get injured a little bit after that meet though. Was considering kind of just like taking a break from powerlifting. I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this right now, so I might just take a break. My back's injured, I can't deadlift, I can't squat. I'm really not enjoying going to the gym, all that stuff. I have these like expectations for myself, and I can't hit them right because I'm injured, right? But as time went on, I got healthier, and I always think back on this thought. By the time my junior year came around, I was, this is when I had the thought. I was still injured going into my junior season of powerlifting. And I was like, probably after the season, I'm probably going to take a break, let my back heal a little bit, just get my body healthy, and then I'll get back in the sport maybe like at the end of the year. I did one meet, and it's kind of all it took for me to be like, oh my God, I love this sport. Right? Went on to do another meet after that. I would try qualifying for regionals. I did not. I fell very short. Something I did not tell people at the time is how just like I felt about myself after that. For sure, something that I do try to be very verbal with the people around me, and my coach especially, is how I feel after, or just how I feel about the sport and stuff like that. Because I thought to myself, I'm not good enough, right? I couldn't hit this total, and I fell so short of like what I thought I could do. Because I recorded a video after my sophomore season, and I was recording, and I told myself next year I'm gonna make it to regionals and hopefully state, because that's what I really want to do, right? So I want to be great, all this stuff, and if I fall short, then what am I, right? So I was very upset. Definitely not the best of days, but then I signed up for Southern Regionals, USFL Southern Regionals, and it kind of brought my spirits back up, and I got Joey, my coach, again. It's kind of that meet also kind of I do credit for me never taking a break, just because that meet kind of just set a fire in me, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not good enough, and I'm like, I want to prove that I am good enough, right? Of course I went, because that mean I went 6-9, and then so the regionals I went 7-9. Still got the little medal, third place medal, but clearly not my best performance. Not was not my best on the day. I still I mean, I feel like there would be a case for a lot of people, like, right, me, I'm very passionate about the sport. I love this sport, but that doesn't mean it comes with its downs, right? And its downs is like, I'm very passionate, so when something doesn't really go my way, or when I know didn't perform the best I could, it's gonna stick with me. Most of the reason these medals are up here is because of that reason. This is the third place medal. I went 7-9, did horrible. This medal, another third place medal. Missed my last squat at Raw Nationals. It's for sure. I think what I've learned over time is that you kind of gotta face that failure and not let it bring you down, but let it keep let it set a fire under you where you just keep running, right? And you sprint and you just keep running to the finish line, right? And you just don't stop running until you finish, right? Yeah, it set a fire under me, and it's like I want to keep getting better, and I want to prove that I deserve to be here, right? So Southern Regionals didn't go as planned either, and that was kind of that meet that kind of just like set me straight, and I was I went into prep for another 5 months, and I got another third place medal. This one actually better than the others, because the only goal going to this meet was just to hit the QT for 82.5. I was still 75. I went on 74.2, so about practically a 74. Hit the QT, national QT for 82.5 at that meet, so that was literally just the only goal. It's a funny story, because so after I won this like third place medal, I like told my handler and my friends, I was like, it's probably the happiest I've been placing third. Just because that the goal really into that meet was not the medal, it was the QT and then going to nationals, which then got me this. Of course, this is a different story, but I mean, what can you do about that? But I guess before that, I did my senior season of Texas high school powerlifting. I did it raw, except the bencher. I used the bencher because I have a poverty bench, or I did at the time. I'm hoping I don't classify into that list anymore, but I'm not too sure. Definitely got to get that up there. But yeah. So I went to regionals for that. I actually have my high school powerlifting medals like on the other side of the room, just because I don't know. It's like their medal is okay. That's really it. I mean, looking back on it now, that high school, I'm more than grateful for high school powerlifting, because it brought me to this sport that I love and brought these other medals with me, and along with that, better experiences, and just made me a better person in general. I believe so. Yeah, but I think in terms of just like going out there and winning those medals, they don't really mean much besides that. It's more of the experience I got from the actual whole experience of high school powerlifting. So just a little, lore drop there for y'all. But yeah, did that, went to regionals, was 25 pounds off the QT for state. My knee was just, bugging at me and all that stuff. Like I said, I'm very passionate about the sport. So there's times when, things don't really go my way, and I'll have these intense feelings. I wouldn't say anger, but more like a very violently passionate, type of feeling. It's like, yes, that meet was, what is that now? It's October, so like 7 months ago. So there's still times I think about it. I'm like, man, if I had another 25 pounds, I definitely had on that squat and that deadlift, could add it on a little more and win a state. But looking back on it now, it's like, I'm always gonna have these thoughts for sure. I'm a competitor. That's what I've always been, and I've always wanted to be the best. So it's a thing that's definitely come to mind. But I mean, then the question arises, how healthy would I feel? Because like I said, my knee was bugging me and going into that meet. So like, then going in to compete another 2 weeks after that, like how's my body gonna feel, right? I'm thinking the long term here, and the long term is to become the best in the world. And I think we're now just learning that it's not you know things are gonna happen right away. This is a sport of longevity. I mean, look at Jurgens. He won worlds, and dude's been paddling for over a decade. I mean, this is a sport of consistency and longevity. So, you know, might as well go through that longevity and get that the most I can for the longest amount of time. So, yeah, and then after that, most recently was Raw Nationals, placed third. I would say though I did miss that last squad. It definitely has changed my mentality, which I will get into. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had at a meet. I met a lot of people. Just a great meet experience. The venue, it was all amazing, right? It's such an unreal feeling, and I think now that everyone's going Powerlifting America and all that stuff, it's something people take for granted. If you're not a world level lifter, don't worry about the world stuff. Just try to get to nationals and just experience that, because I think everyone should at least experience the nationals and feel that, right? Like it's a great experience. It's a great memory that you'll have for sure. It's something I definitely won't forget. So I mean, appreciate the sport, appreciate what you have. Going on to that though, I missed my last squat, which was 240. I went 227 and then 240, so I only got 227. It set a fire. That's the only. It's very hard to explain. I tried to explain it to my coach. I ended up sending him a 6-minute voice message. So I mean, ask the guy if you really want to know. But I mean, just missing that squat, and then kind of just a click in my mentality. It's like I got that taste for that national stage. I want more. Of course, I only got third, but I want to go to the next nationals and win, right? So yeah, like, I mean, I think this, like, because I was thinking about what video to make, and I think this is the perfect first video because it's an introduction of who I am really, and just my history in the sport, but also an introduction to how I think of and how I am about this sport, because I'm very passionate, and that's something I will never hide. When I'm having a conversation with people, like, they may not know what powerlifting is, they may not think it's impressive, but I'm a very passionate person about when it comes to that and what I do. So it's a thing that you can tell. It's like I love to talk about, and I love to just discuss and all that stuff. Like this sport has basically become my life, right? It's one of the main three things I'm doing right now in life, right? It's work, school, and working out. So I mean, yeah. What I mean, it's like it's a part of who I am for sure. So I feel like when I give an introduction to someone, it's like, oh yeah, I powerlift. That's something you should definitely know about me. So yeah, but something just clicked in me. Something just clicked in me after that nationals, and I've been on I mean, I've had a one block after this nationals, but I mean, even like now, it's like the most momentum I've had coming out of a meet, and for sure, like the best start of an off season I've had. So I mean, I'm excited to what the future holds for sure. I mean, the plan, I told Joey, and I'm gonna tell everyone like this, because like I said, I'm a very passionate person when it comes to this. I'm a competitor, and I will say this again: I'm going into junior nats next year, doing my best, and what I want my best to be is first and winning. That's what I want to do, right? I'm an 83 junior, right? I know I have a lot of competition. I've seen the QTs. Trust me, I wake up every morning, I check the roster, I see who's on there, right? I see, okay, who am I going against? You know why? Because I want every single bit of that smoke. I think for the longest time have had these third place medals just because I haven't wanted it bad enough. And I think that's something very important when it comes to the sport, is your mentality and just how you think. Because you can say, yeah, it's lifting weights based on muscle, which really truly it is. But what can your mentality do to, better that? Your muscles can do so much, and so can your mentality. You can get under the bar and squat something you've never squatted before, and you can say to yourself, oh, I'm not gonna get this. I don't believe I can get this right. And then you don't get it. You know why? Because you've already come into this lift and thinking, no, I'm not gonna get it. Something I heard is the most important thing before a lift is what you'll think will be the outcome, right? Like the most important thought you're gonna have is, as you're lifting that bar, is, do you believe it? Do you believe you can do it, right? And I stick with that mentality. I mean, if I go into something believing I can't do it, then why am I doing it, right? why am I wasting my time? If I'm not going to junior nationals thinking I can win, then why even do it? So, I mean, I know it's a bold claim. I mean, I placed third at USCPL Nationals. I got smoked by 60 kilos for the guy in first. So, I mean, it's like, this guy's coming on here making a big claim, and it's like, so what? I'm passionate, I'm a competitor, and, you know, I believe that I can put in, like, I know what it takes now. I've, gone through a lot of adversity, and it's like, I can keep going through this if it means I win, because that's really all I want to do. So, again, bold claim, but I believe it. So, why not tell the whole world that I believe it, right? Anyways, into the after this whole little spiel right there. Yeah, that's a little self introduction of who I am. I also coach. I have currently 3 athletes. I have 1 national champ, Team 2 national champ, 67.5. Very proud of him and very proud of the work he's done. Again, a lot of it just comes down to mentality and just how hard you work, and he's definitely put in the hard work, and he believes that he can win. So, I mean, I've seen it in other people, so it's like, it's a living proof, right? But yeah, my future in the sport, like I said, got junior nationals. I actually do have a meet coming up in December though. I'm doing the game day meet, and I'm looking forward to that. Not too focused on hitting any numbers. Just trying to get big, fill out the class, and then by the time we get to junior nationals, okay, we can talk numbers, right? I will say though, just again, being the person I am, a competitor, very passionate about the sport, I do have some numbers set in my mind for what I would like to hit at junior nationals. Not something I'm going to say now, but as we get closer, for sure, I think those are going to start to, I won't have to tell anyone. I think it'll just be in people's mind because they see the numbers I'm hitting, my momentum I'm getting, and they're like, don't know, It's not something I have to tell people, don't know, right? So, yeah, that's a little self-introduction. I hope y'all enjoyed. I have some videos coming up. I do want to get back into this swing of things. Want to kind of try to gravitate towards a lot of these people that are coming into the sport, because the sport is growing, and I love to see that. Like I said, I love the sport. I want to see it grow. I want to see it become the best it can, right? Hopefully one day the Olympics, right? But only time will tell, really. Anyways, thank you for watching. So that'll be all.